Welcome back to the Controvert Podcast, where we talk about modern dating issues. Today, we're going to be talking about if women actually want more docile men now. So, in the past, actually, you know what, Sebastian, go ahead, introduce yourself first before I get into that.
Hey everyone, my name's Sebastian Ye. I've been a pickup and dating coach for the past 5 years, and I've been doing pickup for a decade now.
Great. Okay. So the question I have about this is, or the concern I want to express is that women nowadays have been talking about how there's a lot of fuckboy men, right?
Right.
Especially like the Me Too movement. Okay. And so because of this, I see a rise in like how women date. They screen out these guys instantly. If you look like a red flag with like earrings, they would be like, this guy's a fuckboy. I'm not going to go for him. Instantly crossed off the list. Okay. And I don't know if it's just me or you, but I feel like maybe women are starting to go for like the guys who are more quiet and docile and not as masculine, right? Like to get pushed around.
I wouldn't say docile. They want the cute romantic guy. You know, like, oh, he's cute. Oh, he looks dreamy, right?
But
like
that's interesting because like back then, like girls would want the guy who's like a gangster.
The bad boy.
The bad boy.
The bad boy, yeah.
And I mean, we do still see that nowadays.
We still do, yes.
But I do see a more prevalent issue where like now more women are starting to go for like the guys who are like bitch boys, especially like very skinny. Do you see these guys who are like pulling?
Yeah,
they're
I've heard
skinny
about
as
that.
hell.
I've heard about that.
They don't even like the muscular guys now.
That I genuinely don't understand what it is about that.
They're going for you, bro.
No, they're going for the pasty white version of me. There was a meme. There was a meme, like a girl getting excited about, I'm attracted to guys that look like they haven't seen sunlight in 7 days, are skinny.
What?
Yeah, and are skinny and tall, skinny and tall, haven't seen sunlight in 7. I forgot what the meme was, but
Okay, tall is masculine though.
but
not
guess.
skinny, right?
Yeah, and pasty white. I don't know what that. I don't understand what that's about, but yeah, that one I don't get, but I do get the, he's dreamy, he's cute, right? The opposite of like bad boy, right? Like
With
bad
scars.
boy. Yeah, scars or tats, or he's got the James Dean look, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, back then it's funny because like on my dating profile, like on Tinder, when Tinder was popping,
Yeah.
I would post photos of me looking like badass like this. Like suave, like Mewin, you know?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
And then now it's like girls want to see a guy who's cheerful, like very, very
Yes.
vulnerable looking.
Yeah.
I started thinking, dude, a lot of these Gen Zs nowadays, don't you think
Yeah.
they look like skinny twigs?
Yeah, there's this. I don't understand this. It shows you how old I'm starting to get. There's this thing called e-boys.
Oh yeah, I know.
I don't get it. They have
They're,
the
like all black,
the earrings and the black nails, and they're skinny,
cross earrings, yeah.
skinny, pasty skin, right?
Yeah.
Pasty white skin.
Baggy clothing.
Yeah. There's that one, and there's, oh god, what's the other one? There's like another Gen Z style of. There's one more
K-pop look,
kind of, but
the perms.
yeah. But they same thing, like painted black nails.
Oh yeah.
They have,
and that's popular.
Yeah. I don't get that. They like to wear, like, some of them even wear a little bit of makeup, I think.
Yeah. I've seen that. Kind of rare, but I do see that.
Yeah, and girls find that really attractive, and I'm just thinking, you find that attractive,
Bro, and they're not even built.
Yeah, no,
Which is crazy.
Yeah, they're not built. They're not impressive. Physically, they're not impressive, but they do have the pretty boy face, right? They have the pretty boy look, the face. So I don't know. Maybe I'm getting old. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it.
You know, when I talk to like Gen Z girls, it's so funny because they say like my style is like old. I'm like boomer. And I'm like, dang, the guys that you're dating Like they'd be like with the perms and they're skinny as
Okay,
hell.
the one that shocked me,
what the fuck?
I met this girl. She's from Finland.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she loves K-pop, and we were talking, and she says, "I really like the Maid Boys." Like, what are Maid Boys?
Maid boys.
Maid Boys. This is an actual thing. This is a real thing.
MADE or MAID?
MAID. Maid, like maids. You know.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, what are Maid Boys? She's like, you never seen Maid Boys? I'm like, last time I checked, maids are females. Right?
Okay.
And she said, no. She was showing me TikToks of buff dudes wearing maid outfits.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, you find that attractive? A buff guy in a maid outfit? And she's like, yeah, that's hot. I'm like, what is this? What am I looking at? I don't know what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I think that's an outlier though. Maybe not like all
Maybe it
women are
is,
like
but
that.
even for that to be an actual thing, for it's an actual Gen Z. Well, it's a Gen Z thing first
Yeah.
of all, because I don't know like if my generation had that, everyone would be punking on a guy wearing a maid outfit, right? Everyone would be making fun of him.
Okay.
But I guess that's acceptable for Gen Z girls, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, so-
Also like spitting in like a guy's mouth or something.
Oh, that's wild. I don't know about all that. That's kind of
I think that's becoming more prevalent too. It's not like as popular, but it's like kind of getting there.
And you spit in my mouth.
I don't know anything about that.
There's like this streamer girl, like Sup Caitlyn, like she's like spitting into like a guy's mouth. But I think it's because she's like a popular streamer. But I have heard like girls like spitting into like my homie's mouth, or these are not like super close homies, but these are just like distant friends, right? But they like that stuff, and I'm like,
I don't get
what
it.
the hell?
I don't get it. Yeah. But when it comes to the feminine docile guys, I just yeah, some of the Gen Z girls, that's what they're into. You know? I mean,
Yeah. When I talk to these Gen Z girls and I show like the true masculinity,
yeah.
I mean, true masculinity is subjective, but
Right.
what was considered masculine like 10 years ago,
Right.
they're not attracted by that. They're just like, I want to boy dude. And then after dating me,
Yeah.
they kind of say like, yeah, you're not really my type.
Mm-hmm.
But then they start dating like guys who are like boys after
Right.
me, super skinny.
Yeah.
I'm like, so I wasn't the type, but this guy's the type, and he's short, he's skinny.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And then some people could say like, this girl thinks you're not her type because of your personality.
Yo, where were these girls when I needed them? You know, where were these girls back in my day?
Okay.
Struggling.
Like, but the thing like with my personality, right? Like I haven't even shown my personality too much.
Right.
And like it could be an example where it's like I tell my cousin to tell her friend, hey, tell her I think she's cute. And my cousin tells her, and she goes like, oh, but you're not really her type. That's what she said. And I'm like, okay, so that's just like based on looks then.
Yeah.
Okay. So I started like thinking about this a little bit more. Also, men nowadays, I'm gonna ask you a personal question.
Sure. Go ahead.
Do you, do you like when a girl licks your ass?
I've actually never had that. I've never had that. I'll be honest. I've never had that.
Would you ever try? Would you be open to that?
Letting a girl do that to me?
Yeah.
Why not? You know?
Okay.
I mean, I'd question it like why? I mean,
Would you
shouldn't-
question your masculinity?
nah.
Okay.
Nah, okay.
I can't tell you like the amount of times like girls have asked me if they could lick my ass. Okay.
You've had girls that ask you that?
That they asked me and they
You
actually
get some
tried.
freaky girls.
They-
I haven't had a girl ask me that.
They were
yet.
trying to rape me, and then some were trying to finger me.
I don't know. Okay, that's kind of weird. Okay, that's kind of sus.
And they weren't even fucking around. They kept trying. Okay. I was having a conversation with a couple friends, right?
Okay.
It was like a group of homies, and
Yeah.
then I will say these guys are more close.
Okay.
So it was just like locker room talk, and then they were like talking about how they got their ass all licked.
Okay.
And I was like, you guys like that shit? And they're like, yeah, you don't like that? I was like, what the is wrong with it? And they're like, no, what's wrong with you? And they were serious. I looked them dead in the
What?
eyes. I looked them in the eyes. I was like this. And they're like, and I was like, what?
Yeah, I don't know about all that. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't know about all that.
I asked another close friend of mine, and then he's like, yeah, I've gone that before. You should try it. He's telling me to try it. And then a close family member too. And I was like, whoa, what the hell is going on here? And these are masculine guys. And okay, to switch gears, right? These guys are masculine. We were talking about more like feminine dudes.
Right.
But now could it be a thing where like masculine men, they like these feminine activities now, and they like to be put down like on a...
I would say they're only doing that to get some action, right? To get laid, right?
But they enjoy it though. They legitimately enjoy it.
Okay, that's questionable. That's something I wouldn't get. I just don't get, you know.
I mean, they start quoting science and they're like, well, we have the G spot there. Men have G spots too. And I'm like, okay, but we have dicks. And if we have, we just put it in a hole. Like, why do we have to have something in our hole? That's usually like putting it in a hole is a thing for men to do.
Right.
For a woman to do that to a man, you're kind of...
Yeah, I don't know about
feminizing this men.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I'm not gonna, judge your bedroom activities, especially if it's two consenting adults. Okay, right? I mean, sure, it might be strange to me, but I can't knock it, right? I mean, if a girl asks me to do that, or do it to me, first of all, I ask, what about it that turns you on, right? Why?
I asked that, yeah.
Yeah, I would try to get to understand first.
Okay.
And based on the response, I would conduct myself accordingly. Like if it's a reasonable response, I'd be like, oh, okay, sure, why not? But if it's some, I don't know, strange response, then I'd be like, oh, nah, girl, I'm not the guy for that. I'm not the guy for that. I'm sorry, girl. And aren't you gonna ask if I showered first? Like, I would have some serious questions, right? Serious doubts, serious questions. So
Your face to me, is so disgusting. Okay.
No, it's not. It's just strange to me, right? It's just strange. I don't know. I guess this is what guys are into nowadays. Man, I'm like,
okay, who's to say that they were never into this, right? Okay, like, yeah, probably I'm being a little bit too judgmental. Probably like the science is there that we have the G spot, right?
Right.
But
right.
What I'm saying is that like this was not present in our parents.
Oh, hell no. Hell no. Oh, not that I know of, especially. No.
Okay, I say this because like I was talking to my dad about this. I was like, hey, dad.
Your dad about this.
I was like,
ask your dad.
I was like, hey, dad. This is the weirdest conversation, though. I will say, I'm very open with my dad, okay? But this was one of the things that made him go like, what the fuck? He was scratching his head.
To smack you upside your head. Like, yo, I didn't raise no...
No, not me. I was like, hey, dad, I was just talking to X and Y about like, getting his ass licked. Like, he likes that. He enjoys his ass getting licked by women. And I was like, this family friend of ours also likes that, and he's done that before. He was like, what? And he was like so disappointed.
So disappointed.
Okay? Like you imagine any brute dad,
right?
Very masculine,
right? Of course.
Our parents' generation,
yeah,
they would not condone that shit. That's not a thing in their generation.
No.
But now it's slowly becoming a thing. And
I don't get it.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe the science is there and has always been there that men enjoy it. I never tried. I don't know if I enjoy it or not. I don't think I would because I'm pretty ticklish. Like in that region, I would be like, fucking stop. But I would be, yeah. I think the fact that the culture shifted like this, that's what I want to point out. The culture shift.
Okay.
And so when we go from like a culture where that was not accepted, and now it's an accepted thing to put it in a man's hole, when like a hole is supposed to be for a woman. I mean, literally, you see on bathrooms a triangle for men,
right,
and a circle for women,
right,
which denotes a penis versus a vagina.
Right.
Okay. So a hole is not meant for a man to have something inserted inside.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Right.
So could it be possibly that like women, they're starting to like activities like this because they want to make a man like feel more submissive?
That I don't know about. I would say sexual exploration has started to, you know, to really be a thing, you know, bigger. It's right, sexual exploration. Maybe it's because of the internet. I don't know. I'm not, you know, a professor when it comes to human sexuality. I this is a topic I have
That's
no
outside
idea
of
on.
a dating
Yeah, because I mean, yeah, I mean, I would say there's nothing wrong with sexual exploration,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
but I guess it's just on how far you're taking it.
When it's becoming
You
a
know?
trend, like that's a little bit concerning.
Yeah, it's a little concerning because I mean, because when you talk about sexual exploration, you can go all the way back to the Kama Sutra, right? That's one of the peak forms of sexual exploration. Nowadays, I don't know. When you're talking about girls licking your, to me that's a little suspect, right? That's a little sus.
All right, we're not gonna talk about this
Yeah.
anymore. All right.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next thing. Okay. So how about like the affection that like women have nowadays? Because, I'll just say the story. Like, me and my boy, like we were talking about like just like last week, he was talking about how his girlfriend is not really that affectionate anymore.
Okay.
Well, not anymore. It's like the new girlfriend that he has is not as affectionate as like the girlfriends he would have back then.
Okay.
And I was like, that's interesting because the girlfriends that I had after my first girlfriend, it slowly got lower and lower of a quality of affection.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to feel like that's something promoted widely, that women should not be that affectionate to men anymore.
Yeah.
And so if that's the case, like it starts to make it that the man has to romanticize the women because you need like someone to actually keep the relationship like glued together.
Yeah.
And so if both are not affectionate, then it's just gonna fuck up, right?
Yeah.
So now that women are not that affectionate, men start to become more affectionate. You see more simps, more simp men, right?
Yeah. So there's a whole culture behind women saying, "Oh, I don't need no man. I don't need no man. I'm independent.
Correct.
I'm, you know, queen bee. I'm boss babe. This, and that." So when that culture becomes more and more relevant to women, yeah, I can see them becoming less and less affectionate towards men. Right? That's
But did you see that though? Like,
Yeah.
experience that yourself?
Yeah,
Or
myself.
like back then, like you probably had a first girlfriend,
Yeah.
and then nowadays,
The most
trying to find a
affectionate girlfriend I ever had was my first girlfriend.
same.
Yeah, the most affectionate. Nowadays it's just come and go. These girls just come and go, come and go. The affection, the level of affection is just not there anymore.
You know, I dated a
so-
girl recently. She's Taiwanese, and then she paid for my meal, like a really expensive meal.
Yeah.
And we kind of talk about this a lot on this podcast, where like when we go to like Asia, the girls there, they would pay for like your meals, and they would be more courteous with that. But she paid for a glamorous meal for my birthday,
Very nice.
and she was just like, no, like just it's okay. You don't have to buy me anything back. And she would buy me certain things, like for example, she bought me like a sweater, like when I was like cold.
Yeah.
She booked like this whole not itinerary. She booked like a bus for me to go back to the airport and to bring me from the airport.
Nice.
She would hold the umbrella for me, and I'd be like, "Oh, what the fuck? Like you're holding it? Let me take that back."
Yeah,
You know? And she's like, "No,
right.
it's okay." And even when I did something wrong, because I'll be honest, like during that time I was kind of situationship, and I was like
Right.
messing around with like other girls.
Yeah.
Even during that time, she was like very forgiving and like very understanding.
Yeah.
And she knew that we're in a situationship, but that didn't stop her from being affectionate with me. Okay.
Yeah.
And so when I saw that, I started thinking of like my very, very first girlfriend. And then I started looking at it like, wow, these girls are very rare now. They're very,
Very
rare
rare.
to come by.
Yeah, very
Where
rare.
if you do something wrong, they would forgive you and still want to like try to talk to you and still act very loving, you know? And I was like, damn. I mean, if anyone wants to ask like why I didn't stick with her, there were other issues, right? Just to put it short, there were like insecurity issues. But other than that, like she would call me a lot. She would FaceTime me a lot. She would Uber things to like my house. And it was loads of affection that I can't really describe, right?
Nice.
And so when I look at that now, I'm like, it's so hard to find girls like that.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, they just, in a sense, they want to put a man down and they just want a guy to be below them instead.
Yeah, it's
Probably a little hardcore, but not necessarily below. They're scared to show
that
affection.
level of affection. Yeah. I would definitely say that. I think women are at a point where they are scared of, you know, getting played, right? Getting played.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say it's a combination of scared of being played and knowing that they have a lot of option.
Oh, true.
Yeah, so it's a combination of both things.
Yeah.
It's like, listen, I don't want to get played, so let me just move on to the next guy.
Oh,
I got plenty of options. Even the average girl nowadays has a lot of options.
yeah.
Some below average girls have a lot of options.
But in that sense, then it's like a never-ending spiral because
Yes,
like if you
yes.
keep moving on to the next guy and you're not
Yeah.
just affectionate with just one guy,
Yeah.
then in a sense you're constantly moving on to guys
Yeah.
and you're like, why am I not having success with relationships?
Yeah.
But you're the one not putting affection
Yeah.
and love into this. You're like, let me let this guy do it
Yeah.
because that's what men should do.
Yeah.
But they don't realize that's what women need to do as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It should be a two-way street, right? Not one-sided. But the
Yeah.
problem is women, like I said, they have so much option, right? So earlier you said that girl was very forgiving towards you,
Mm-hmm.
right? But now most women will think, especially when they have options, like, why should I forgive him? I could just find a better guy,
Yeah.
right? They always try to keep dating up and up and up. They try to, right? Keep trying to find better and better and better until finally they find Mr. Perfect.
Mm.
Right? Because a lot of women's ideas is,
Yeah.
well, if a man has his shit in order, I wouldn't have to have this conversation with him. It's like, yo, listen, men are men, but we're still human at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We're not perfect. We're gonna make some mistakes, right?
Yeah.
But in their mindset, a lot, especially like I said, when they have a lot of option, they don't think like that.
I will say this though, like some people might be thinking like, well, you kind of played her, right? Like, so of course she's gonna naturally want to start being more crude,
Yeah.
and women in general are going to be more crude. I told her this. I was like, I really love the fact that you're so affectionate and you still forgive. Don't ever let that go because
Yeah.
that is the biggest thing that made me want to cling on to the situationship that we had, and I kept wanting to try to make it a relationship
Okay.
because of how affectionate she was.
Yeah.
So I think when women, they are like, oh, I had one bad apple.
Yeah.
I'm just going to start being crude to men because I'll fuck all men. I don't think that should be the thought process that they should have.
Yeah.
Because maybe it just didn't work out with that guy.
Yeah.
Because there are certain like compatibility issues outside of you being affectionate, right?
Yeah.
But if you let that affect you for the rest of your life and you treat men like trash,
Yeah.
it will not fortify your bond together. You guys will have a very weak bond, or you will go for the guys who are very simp. And I think that's why there's a contribution of a bunch of simps nowadays. I'll give an example. So there's this very close friend of mine, very, very big simp. I'm not friends with him anymore because of how simp he is. He would always romanticize women in a way where it's like a chick flick. He would like want to ask her out
Okay.
to be the girlfriend after the third date, after they haven't even held hands, this would be things that women were wishing for back then. Like they would be wishing, when is this guy gonna ask me out?
Yeah.
And then he would do certain things that were very from a chick flick movie.
Right.
And it got me thinking, well, I think these guys, they see how empowering a woman is nowadays, that they're like, I have to bend to that woman's will. Let me start watching some chick flicks. And they think that's the way to get a girl. And it's not just this guy. There's a lot of simps out there.
Yeah.
I can't speak on behalf of them and say that they also do chick flick things, but I could say that they do very like begging type things where it's like, hey, please answer me, or it's like, hey, please go on a date with me. They're like pretty much begging for a date, you know? And I'm like, this act is starting to become more and more popular from these guys, and I think women love it.
And it's starting to become more and more acceptable, which is scary. Did you hear about the OnlyFans girl that made $43 million in a year?
Yeah. I think it's like more than like the Hollywood, the highest level Hollywood
Yeah,
person.
some NBA players don't even make that type of money, like top tier NBA players. You know, it's all because of these simps. And I just look at this and I go, what the hell is going on with men nowadays? This is crazy. Her top donor, I don't even know, the top simp. I'll say top simp. Her top simp gave her $4 million. I was like, what the hell is wrong with you? I don't care if you're a billionaire.
Wasn't like all his life savings just to say like, hey, like, call me baby or something?
I don't know. I don't care. I don't even care what the trade-off is. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're a billionaire. You're gonna give a chick, OnlyFans girl, $4 million.
Or daddy. I think it was daddy.
Like, what the hell is wrong with you? You know, and this is becoming more and more normalized.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wish men would just stop. You know, would just altogether stop.
I think the bigger issue is that like women inherently are attracted to men who are masculine and
of course
got their shit together and not a simp.
Yeah.
So when they like tell themselves, I want to go for a guy who is like a simp.
You know why they get a kick out of simps? Validation.
Yeah, validation.
Right? Attention and validation. And attention and validation is a drug to women.
It's a drug. Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an absolute drug to them.
So they keep going from guy to guy. They keep trying these different drugs.
Yeah, they want more and more validation. More
Instead
and more.
of just having one long-term, not a drug, but a nutrition that will sustain you for the rest of your life. They would just instead take these drugs periodically.
Yeah.
And rather than having that one guy that will be with you forever.
Yeah.
They would prefer like, you know what, let me just like go for these simps because I'm scared of getting hurt.
Yeah.
But as a byproduct to that, because you're scared of getting hurt, you're not going to have that like lasting connection with one guy.
Yeah.
And you're scared to give that affection to that one guy.
Yeah, because for women, attention and validation is all the reward with minimal consequence. They get the money, they get the validation, they get the attention, and they can just bounce whenever they want.
Yeah.
Right? So to them, it's very minimal risk. Short term. Long term, of course, there's going to be long-term effects. They don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care, especially in a society where everything is fast-paced, everything is now, instant gratification. Right? These women, they're not looking at things long-term.
Would you ever get this like idea that women look at things more short-term? Like on average, women look at things like more short-term.
Of course, I would say so.
Versus like men, the men, they're like planning the future. I want to save as much money and make as much money and not spend it. And this way I could have a house for my future wife and kids.
Yeah.
But whereas the woman is like, how much can this guy pay me to show on the date that like he cares about me?
Yeah.
I want him to keep paying for me. And that way it'll show me that he loves me. And I want him to buy a ring so that shows me that he really loves me, or else I'm not going to accept that. Yeah. But all of that money could go into your house, and instead of being like renters, you guys have a house together. Yeah. So some of these guys, they spend all this money on a girl, but this guy doesn't even have a house yet, but he's making a lot of money. Yeah. But all his money is going to like trying to buy her Prada bags, trying to buy her like Louis Vuitton, trying to buy her like a very expensive ring.
Yeah.
So
So I'm glad you brought that up. My closest friend, he has a colleague. He was gonna propose. Well, he was proposing to his girlfriend, and when he proposed, he said, "Hey, you get two options. We can either, or I can get you a ring, or instead of getting a ring, I use that money for a down payment on a house. You get to pick." He let the woman pick.
what's the ring?
No, she actually said, "Let's get the house."
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
that, just him seeing that in his woman, he was like, "This is the right woman," because she's actually thinking further. He said, "I still would have got her the ring if she said ring, right? Because if she said I want the ring, he still would have got it for her.
Yeah.
But for her to say, 'Fuck the ring, I want the house for us,' that solidified that this is the right girl."
Yeah.
Right? And I want the audience to understand, I'm only talking down to the modern West women, right? The women in the modern West that have this idea of, jumping from man to man, wanting, validation and attention and only all this shit. Like, because I don't see that as much in the conservative countries overseas. I don't see that as much. Yeah, it's usually in the modern West. Yeah. So I hear about it in, of course, America, Australia, parts of Canada, parts of England.
They're probably
Parts
going
of
to
Western
be like,
Europe.
well, we're not jumping from guy to guy. We're trying to find a guy, but there's no good guys out there. But,
Oh, of course. The old argument. Yeah.
they might
Old
not be
argument,
looking
yeah.
or giving like a chance to like the good guys out there.
Yeah.
Because what it is that they're only letting the simps have a chance, but they inherently don't like the simps, but they keep telling themselves consciously, you know what? I do not want to give the most masculine guy a chance because I'm going to get hurt. So let me give this docile guy a chance, even though I don't really like him.
But he gives me
Subconsciously,
attention.
I don't like him. But consciously, I keep telling myself that I like him. I like a guy like this with green flags, with super green flags where he's like a loser. I need something like that. But then you end up like not liking the guy genuinely and you end up leaving him. Then you hop to the next guy and same thing. And then when a guy who you actually really find attractive, you instantly check out because you're like, I'm scared of getting hurt again. And
Some women are like
scare,
that.
how you apply that to each masculine guy that is within your criteria of what your interests are. You kicking out all these guys, it's like, okay, you're only giving the chance to like these simp ass dudes, these dudes you're not interested in. Of course it's not going to work out.
Yeah.
Of course. So it's just like what I said, it's a spiral of death.
Yeah.
And so they complain about, I can't find the right guy, but well, yeah, you're not giving the guys that you would like a chance.
Yeah. They're not gonna look at, the average Joe. They're not gonna look at Joe Schmo. I found a really amazing clip on YouTube. It was a old it was street interview done back in like the 60s. Okay. And the interviewer asked a bunch of girls on the street, like, "Hey, would you ever give an ugly man a chance?" And the girl said, "I'm married to one."
Oh, yeah, I seen that.
Yeah,
I
you
seen
see that, right?
Yeah.
And that entire clip, and they asked another couple a question. I forgot what the question was. It was a husband and wife, and the interviewer specifically asked the question to the woman, but she didn't answer. She just stayed quiet. She kept her mouth shut, and she eventually said, ask my husband, he's the boss.
Yeah.
So back then, women were far, far more submissive. And you would think, that type of relationship, it looks unhappy. But when I look at the footage, all the couples looked very happy. You can tell they were in love with each other. They were deeply in love with each other. And I'm looking at that going, what the hell happened to that? What happened to that relationship dynamic? What happened to that marriage dynamic? Where did it all disappear? Right? When you can tell the couples, they genuinely love each other.
Here, let's pull it up right now.
Oh, you found it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think that's the one. Yeah.
Would you tell me, please, who is the boss of your house?
I'm the boss.
What do you think? You're his wife, are you?
Come on, sit down. What do you say?
I said, who is the boss? Who is the boss?
My husband.
What is your nationality?
Greek. I'm Greek.
Is it always that way in Greek households? The husband is the boss?
Yes.
Don't the women, the wives, have anything to say about it?
No.
Would you tell me, please?
So this isn't the full interview, but you get the idea, right? And look, she's happy. You can tell she's in love with him. She is in love with him, right? And I'm just like, what happened to this? What happened? What the hell happened to this?
I think they compared it to is like interviews nowadays versus the interviews before. Like they put it side by side.
Oh my god.
And I don't think I have that clip. If I do, I'll find it and I'll put it on the screen.
Say you had a man and he said, hey, when you go to escape, I would like you to dress modestly. What would you say to that?
Sorry, honey, we're breaking up.
Same.
No man is ever gonna tell me what to do, how to dress, how to talk, nothing.
But I mean,
yeah,
they showed
that-
the contrast.
But that used to be common. Right? That's just lost nowadays. It's just lost. That used to be a very, very common type of relationship dynamic amongst husband and wife. Yeah, that clip alone puts a smile to my face because I'm just like, man, that's ideal.
Yeah.
Right? What was normal back in that time is what's ideal now, which is crazy to me.
Well, let me ask you a question, Sebastian. Like, if you found like the ideal girl right now,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be ideal, but a girl that you think is really quality,
Yeah.
would you make her your girlfriend and possibly your wife forever?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. 100%.
Okay.
You know, I joke around. I talk about, I had 3 girlfriends at one point. I want multiple wives. But if I really found the one, it would be stupid of me to not, really solidify that relationship between the one.
So I asked that question because like I know a lot of girls' rebuttals would be like, well, it's because a lot of men are not trying to be serious. Because a lot of these guys that are fuckboys that I'm into, like more attractive, they just want to play. But actually, like for example, me and you, we have some success with girls, right? I mean, you're a dating coach, you have way more success.
Listen, okay.
Like for me, right? Like I would, if that came to me, I would marry her in a heartbeat, bro.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah. Here's the thing, okay, ladies. The best way to really, really figure out if this man is right for you, have your dad check him out. Okay? Your dad should be your first line of defense. Okay? Your dad should be the one judging, hey, if this is the right guy for my daughter. Okay, that should be the first line of defense. I know that sounds old school. I sound boomer, but it worked for a very long time. Right?
Don't know about that because
think about it.
There's a lot of dads that are quite dumb, or if she's not even like with her.
Well,
dad
okay,
anymore.
if not your
Father
dad,
left.
at least the men in your family.
Okay.
At least the male figures in your family, your brothers, right? Your uncles, like that should be one of your first lines of defenses. That's why nowadays there's this saying, "Oh, father," there's this meme or I don't know, whatever you want to call it. This saying called fatherless activities, right? That term exists for a reason, right? Having that male figure in your life or male family figure in your life can really have a positive impact in your relationships. Okay, so I would say, ladies, if you're looking to get into a serious relationship, have the men in your life get involved first. Okay, have them get involved and take a look. Yeah. So I don't know why we lost that, right? That's becoming less and less of a thing. Because I noticed the girls that have strong male figures in their family tend to have more successful relationships.
Yeah. I do think it's kind of something like similar to what I came across recently from someone who, like, this is a quote from someone. I'll paraphrase it, but it's like something like, the people who are weak to begin with, once they obtain power, they become the most brutal people.
Yeah, the worst people.
Like, they abuse their power.
Yeah.
But people who were always strong
Yeah.
and had that strong foundation, once they achieve that level of fame and money,
Yeah.
they will still remain the same.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a broke man being rich, right? So if you're like a broke man, what does this mean? If you're acting like a broke man, but you are rich, you still have those humble qualities and you don't act any different
Yeah.
than like the other guys that like are broke and stuff, right?
Yeah, it's like a
You don't
spoiled
act
child.
superficial.
It's like a spoiled child, right? You suddenly just give them a bunch of money. Of course, they're gonna act out.
Correct.
Right? Yeah, it's the same idea.
Yeah, I saw this a lot with like influencers. Like, I have like a lot of influencer friends, and some of them were in my high school, and in my high school, they were like the biggest losers. No one really talked to them.
Right.
Once they became influencers, they acted like they were the shit. And I was popular in high school, right? Okay,
Yeah.
everyone knew who I was.
Right.
But then once they got that level of fame from like being an influencer, they're like, "Oh, I'm the shit." Like, they're added. They didn't say that, but they were like, "I'm the shit. Like, I don't need to talk to this guy anymore." And so all the guys who were popular in high school or college, even, these influencers start to like look down on everyone. They act like they're the king or queen now. And I'm like, you're just a broke person who finally achieved power, and now you're just abusing it.
Yeah.
And you just have no sort of respect for everyone, you know? So that's like different from like the people who are like the broke man that acts that is rich.
Yeah.
He doesn't act like he's rich, but he's a broke man that is rich,
Yeah.
right? So anyways, I think we're going to wrap it up here. Thanks for coming on this podcast again, Sebastian. And if you guys want to, feel free to check out the previous podcast where he was on. We did talk about how Asian men are becoming more attractive in the dating market and how K-pop actually affected that. And these people who like K-pop and guys who dress like K-pop guys are more attractive. That could be a little bit linked to how women now like bitch boys or e-boys or whatever you call it. People who are more docile, right? If you guys want to check that out, make sure to look at it and to subscribe. We will see you guys next time. Thank you.